welcome to the Man United show. We are live. We've got plenty to discuss. Definitely, we've got to discuss yesterday's loss to West Ham. The players involved, players that are in or around the squad, on the cusp of the squad, players that have been bought for large amounts of money, and people are questioning them already. And who better to ask than my man, Nathan Ellington. How you doing, Nathan?
A bit so after yesterday.
Yeah, it's not surprised. I'm not surprised. The West Ham fans were happy though. But give us a quick rundown of yesterday's game, how it went.
Seeing the starting lineup, I was quite happy that a lot of players were getting their minutes to see what they got. But I thought he made too many changes. In my mind, I thought, wow, he's just changed everything. I actually had a thought that we'd keep one of the defenders in and bring Bailly in, but he brought Lindelof and Bailly in. And then you've got, you had Dalot playing and also Telles. I thought Telles wasn't ready yet. So to have them all playing and then to see Matic and the Van der Beek, I was happy with that. Then to see Sancho and Lingard and Martial, I thought, okay, let's see what they got. I thought that would be a good enough side to go and beat West Ham. And looking at it, mate, it was just poor. We couldn't, it looked like a team that didn't know how to play with each other at first.
Yeah.
Then we let the goal in because we were trying to keep the ball. And then we lost the ball and they go and score. And we're like, man, they were pressuring us for like 10 minutes before they got their goal. So after that, we came into the game and had all the play, but we didn't have any direction again. Mm-hmm. It's like, again, you can see that they're just playing off the cuff. It's all off the cuff stuff. And that's what really is getting to me a little bit now. I'm watching the game thinking, this is how the first team play. It's just that we've got obviously better players in all the positions and we make it happen more often than not. But man, Ollie needs to really start thinking, listen, I need to bring someone in now. I hope he's looking for someone and he's got someone in mind that he can bring in, say, listen, you're part of the managing squad now, the coaching squad, and this is how we're going to move forward because I ain't got the answers. And if I don't get the answers now, the end of the season's going to come. We're probably not going to win anything.
Yeah.
And we're going to have such a good squad and they're going to put my neck on the line. So please, think about it, Ollie, please.
Do you think he's thinking about that? Do you think that people around him might be giving him that word of advice that maybe we need to look to get someone in?
I hope Sir Alex is, because he's the one who knows more than anyone. And he's the one you'll go to. He must be speaking to on a regular basis. Listen, I've just lost this game. Got any ideas for me, mate? You got any ideas? So maybe he's there going, look, let's get it done. You need to go and find someone. Otherwise, you're probably going to struggle. Realize what you're good at. What you've done so far, you're very, very good at that. You're very good at motivating, your man management skills, finding the right players. That's not in question at all. What's in question is how you manage to set them up to go and play. What's your philosophy? It's not enough to say your philosophy is just go out there and work hard. It's just not. You see Man City tear apart Wickham. 6. They hit them for 6. And that's not even their first team. But what they do, they left a few of the first team boys in. Obviously, you know that most of their players that played anyway first team. The Foden kills it and all the other boys. But when it comes to United, I think the only people that can really say they had a really good game, I look at it, Henderson did really well. I think to be honest, I'm not going to talk about the back four. I think Lindelof looked shaky. He just looked shaky, like you can get at him. Bailly looked okay. Dalot defensively not the best. He did well crossing balls, and I liked a lot of his crosses. But when you got Martial up there, he's just not gonna. He's not sharp. He's not thinking of a striker or the way strikers think. I could see it. I'll talk about him when I get to the strikers.
Yeah,
midfield, Matic done well, and Van der Beek done well. They're the two that I can say, yeah, you know what? You can put them in. I was very surprised Matic didn't get overrun, really, in the whole game. He had legs to move around, kept the ball well. Sometimes he dilly-dallies on it a bit too long, but Van der Beek, he really did well. Really, really played well. Got stuck in, played some good stuff. I was happy with him.
Okay, I feel like I need to take a detour on this just to get to the Van der Beek point. So Van der Beek had a really good game, you say, yeah? But the goal, some would say that it was down to the fact that you can't blame it all on Van der Beek, but he's left his man, he's been drawn into the ball, and that ball's been cut back to the man on in and around the 6-yard box. Do you think that's a fair claim? Do you think that should tarnish or will tarnish him potentially playing again soon?
No, I think, you know what, I got to look at the goal again to see if it was more his fault than anything. But it's one of them ones where you just see that they outdone us. They were better than us in that attack, and they just outdone it. I couldn't say, that was your fault, or that was... It was just the fact that the team wasn't good enough at the back. The just players, all in all, as a unit, were just not good enough to defend it. And that's what I saw. I didn't see, that's your mistake. You know, usually when it comes to them, sometimes you can see it glaring. That's your silly mistake, you. Yeah. I didn't see that yesterday. All I saw was Van der Beek working real hard, and he was working his tail off, and he was looking like a player that would not look out of place playing this Saturday. He could easily play in there and do a better job than McTominay or Fred. And that's the type of player he is. He'll get the ball moving quicker. We need more of them players in the team, otherwise others are going to really get hurt.
Do you think this could have been a game that Mata could have played in, and it would have opened up a few more things against West Ham?
Mata played. Mata actually played. Yeah, he actually played. It was just the fact that when we moved, we didn't move the ball quick enough everywhere. We didn't have runners in all these areas. Yeah. When you have all the other big boys running, then it's all right. But like I said, I don't really like seeing Matic and Mata playing at the same time.
Yeah, too slow.
You got two slow players, like both of them. Obviously, Mata can make things happen, but you need like runners around Mata, and Matic is behind it. But then it's just kind of like we didn't really have runners. Martial is not a runner. He's just not running anywhere. So I don't know what's happened with him lately, but he's totally like not looking like he's a striker at all. You know, last year you could say, you know what? Not last year, the year before, and the start of last year, he was looking all right. And we're like, yeah, you know what? Maybe do all right. But man, we play some slow football, and we play football where it's like, who's making a run? Right, you're making a run. Right, I'll play you. And then, wait a minute, how am I going to link up with you now? If I play it to you, you're going to play it back? I don't know. Shall I run round you? Shall I not? They don't know. They don't know.
No,
the difference with the manager is, listen, they'll stop the play and go, Delo, listen, you play it into that man, he'll lay it back, and then you're on your bike already. The minute you've laid it in, you're on your bike. He knows that when the midfielder knows he's going to lay it back to the defender, maybe, who's going to put him in. He knows that's his option. Then you've got the winger who's got told, you're doing this run. If he's coming up here, you're going inside, and you're getting. So now the defender's got two options. You know, that's what you get told. It's simple stuff. How you not got no framework? It doesn't make sense. Go out there and play, lads.
Yeah.
You can't tell the boys to go out there and play.
Yeah.
Come on. We didn't do well last week, but we'll do better next week.
So back on Van der Beek, yeah. Is there any flaws that you've seen in his game which may potentially be the reason why Ollie's not playing him?
Nope. I don't see no flaws. In the position that he can play, as that guy who's like the Herrera type player, he's pretty much a like for like Herrera. When Herrera left, imagine a Van der Beek is in. That is what Van der Beek pretty much can do. I know he can get forward more, but he's not going to play the Bruno position. But seriously, he can get forward, he can get back, he can keep the ball moving, he can win a tackle. We just saw that yesterday. He won majority of his challenges. He can do the job. Simple as that. I don't know why he doesn't play. Maybe he just wants to put McTominay in there because he's got more steel. He's more steely. But in terms of football, we need a Van der Beek in there, especially if he's not going to tell the boys how to play. You need players who naturally do that in their game. And Van der Beek naturally does that in his game, and it will open up doors for all these other players. You know?
King Eric says Van der Beek needs to do more. King Eric, what does Van der Beek need to do more specifically? Do you think he needs to do more?
Not really. He's a player who needs to keep the ball moving quickly and not lose the ball and win the ball when he can. And that's what he's doing. So I don't see, he doesn't need to set up goals. He doesn't need to score goals. Mm-hmm. He doesn't need to defend as a defender. He needs to be a midfielder that's a water carrier kind of player. And then he does them little things where he flicks them around the corners. He does the ball through his legs and stuff. They're the kind of things where it's the extra little things like Herrera used to do. Herrera used to do that all the time. Something that you never see coming. That's what he does.
Yeah. It does seem like it needs that player, that middle. Scott, you'd think that Scott McTominay was the closest to what you're probably describing, and the reason why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer probably pays him over Van der Beek is because he's got that defensive skill. He's a big presence as well. He's probably potentially the reason why he plays in there with Fred as well.
Exactly.
Garth says it's unfair on Van der Beek, but that 1-0 defeat will damage his chances for more starts, I fear. This is what I was alluding to when I was speaking about what some people would class as a defensive mistake, because I was watching in the highlights last night, and one thing they, like 2 or 3 people pointed out was the fact that Van der Beek has left his man. But the way they said it was like, I can't believe Van der Beek's just left. I don't understand what it is and the reason why he's been drawn away from why did he feel like he could get the ball there? Why he thought he needed to follow the ball? And I was thinking, I get that he has been drawn into the ball, and there's another defender there. And yes, he saw his man there, looked, but then thought, but I mean, that's like a small lapse. And I don't know whether you could really not play a player in the future just because of that. Like that would be.
Nah, I've not seen.
Such small
you know what?
margins.
His whole performance overall was way better than just looking at that little whatever it was. I didn't see anything major that you can say Van der Beek shouldn't play now. You see that happens with Fred every other week.
Yeah,
he
bad
makes
touches.
A mistake like that, a big mistake where it leads to goals. So if you're losing your man for half a second, everyone's done that. Pogba's done that. Bruno's done that. Everyone, Martial, Rashford, everyone. All the defenders have done it. So end of the day, that should not be a reason to not get him in. You can oversee all of that. When I'm watching from the side, I'm watching like these other coaches are watching because I know what it's like. I've been there for 18, 19 years. So I know exactly what they're thinking. And when you're watching the overall game, Van der Beek did well. Van der Beek did well yesterday.
I don't know a manager that's from one thing, which wasn't even a mistake. It was the player's been drawn into the ball to go and make a challenge to win that ball back in the area. I don't know a manager that would, if the players had a very good game, would hold that against him. Like
exactly,
not especially not a midfielder. Maybe if it was a centre back and he was drawn in, or a full back and he was drawn in, it might be a bit different because that's their job. But not a midfielder. But let's get your response, Eric. Van der Beek gets swamped by others around him. He needs to be the man. The boss takes control. He can be, but I think it's very hard to judge a player when he comes in and out of games. And Van der Beek has not had a run of games, and until he gets that run of games, I don't think you can judge him. I think it's too unfair to judge Van der Beek on spits and spurts here and there. And especially, as Nathan said, he had a good game. And that if that's the one mistake he makes from not playing for 2 or 3 weeks, then for me, it says you give him a consistent run in the team, those will be ironed out very quickly.
100%.
All right.
Nothing more to say about that, to be fair.
Yeah.
I think he's done well enough. He hasn't hurt his chances of getting back in this side. He's actually done them good. One of the few players who's done himself good in that game.
Next one, Jadon Sancho. Now, Jadon Sancho. We seem to be hitting this subject every week because I feel like every week there's an expectation that he might turn it on. This might be the week. This could be the game. He's slowly getting into it. Do you think, as modern day football fans, give players time to adapt? Do you think that valuations are put over players' heads when they really have nothing to do with it? What do you think on the situation with Jadon Sancho, or in general with this type of players?
To be fair, you know what? I'm going to talk about how he played yesterday. He started off as he has been playing with low confidence. You could see it straight away. But again, it's about us being able to. He's used to it. Again, he's used to a philosophy. He's used to a structure that he knows where other players are going to go, what he's going to do. Now, he's playing off the cuff and he doesn't know what's going to happen next. So you see he makes runs and then it's not coming, and then like Matic will be on it and Sancho will make a run and then be like, I'm not going to get it. And then Matic will look at him and then just turn inside and keep holding the ball and look for someone else and then go, no, yeah, there you go. You get it. And he'll make another run and he'll make another run and he'll be like, I'm not getting the ball. I'm going to come short. And then after a few seconds, I remember Matic smashed the ball into him with everyone on him. I don't know. I said, Matic, why are you playing the ball to him there? Like, why? He's never going to get the ball. They're all going to win it and they're going to go on their counter. That's what they did. We blocked it in the end. But someone else might say, oh, Sancho, what are you doing? But really, it's like, it was never on to play it. He's got to get used to our patterns of play. You know, like, but what he did do is he grew into the game slowly, ever so slowly. Like, so he started doing more better things later on in the game. Like he spanned Noble, who pulled him back. Absolutely. I remember them kind of turns that he used to do in Bundesliga. Like the ball's coming to him, his back's to go, and his first touch is a Cruyff, and then he spins and he gets off, and then he's on the counter. He got taken down for that, and that's the kind of thing we need to see him doing. But more often, we need to get the ball in them situations. We need to look at him. I hope Ollie says in training, listen, Sancho's crying out for that ball ASAP. Soon as it gets won and the transition happens, look for him. The same way you look for Cristiano, look for Sancho. Get it into him quickly, because that's when he can start running at you and start doing 1-2s and start cutting in and slotting bottom corners. He will get there. You can see the quality is there, but you can just see that his confidence and his understanding of what's going to happen next on the pitch, he's just got no idea right now. He's got absolutely no idea.
There was times, well, it was probably towards the end of the game, so I don't know whether there was a change in formation or whatever, but it was so deep and very central. Was there any specific reason for that? Why, especially towards the end of the game when you was 1-0 down and you need a goal? It was a bit odd for me as to see Jadon Sancho so deep.
I think towards the end, everyone got really knackered. No one could move. Everyone was like hanging, thinking, I hope this game ends because we're going to let a goal in soon. See how many chances they had every time they attacked.
Yeah.
There new boys on the pitch.
Noble, Yarmolenko, the lot,
Oh my gosh. So they got knackered. And Sancho, I think obviously it's match fitness as well. But you could see some of the nice passes, some of the nice decision making was coming. But again, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for what we know Sancho can do. But like I say, we've got to start playing for his game. We got to start playing for all our players' game. This is the problem. You know, you've got like a mashup of players that are all really good when you look at them on paper. But how do you mesh them together? That's what Alex Ferguson was really good at. You'd have an Anderson, you'd have a Fletcher, you'd have a Ji-Sung, you'd have a Nani, you know what I mean? You'd have these players, you're like, how is he playing ahead of whoever? But you're like, yeah, but it's the right blend. You're playing against Gerrard today. Anderson, take care of Gerrard. Anderson, you're not playing the other games. You're playing Carrick. You know, that's what he'll do. He knows exactly who to play. Horses for courses. I think Ollie needs to learn the same. If you can't play Pogba and Bruno, don't play Pogba and Bruno. For the sake of the balance of the side, pick a team that's right for the balance of the side. If you can't play whoever, just use the right team and have the right tactics.
So what's the answer? So what's the answer for Jadon Sancho? Him to adapt to Man United, or Man United to set up a system that works for him?
Look, the reality is that's Ollie's thing, isn't it? He has to find a way to get the best out of all our players. So when it comes to Sancho, what is he good at? You can't bring him in and tell him to be something else. You brought him in because what he was doing at Dortmund. So, try and play the way Dortmund do. The only way you're going to do that is get players in that can play quick. So put Van der Beek in, so then you don't have to think about telling him what to do because he'll do it anyway. And this is my point. There's players that will struggle in this United side if things don't change. And Sancho is one of them who could be a person that everyone starts turning on down the line because we're not playing to his strengths. Kagawa, I've seen it with Kagawa last time. I've seen it with Di Maria. You think Di Maria is not a great player? He came, he was on his own. He was the only winger that we had, so they just doubled and tripled him, and we had no other players that could do anything. That's why we didn't do anything with him. And then he's never going to wait around 4 or 5 years, as Pogba did. He's come in, everything was heaped on him. He did what more than he's normally supposed to do. People still hated on him. And obviously he wanted to leave because of the transition took so many years. Now we've got the team together, but we don't have the structure. Before we had the structure, no team. So now it's about meshing the two together. We need to have the team and structure. That's what will change everything for us.
So do you think fans give players enough time to adapt, or do you think they're questioned too early?
I think if you don't understand what gets them to that position of adapting quickly or not, then you're going to be quick to judge someone. But if you can see how it is, it happened to me at Watford, actually. I went to Watford and they played totally different football than I know. So I was struggling. But when I spoke to some fans, they would say, I can see exactly what it is. I can see what's going on. Why they bring you here if they weren't going to play that to your strengths? And then there's other people, he's rubbish, he's slow, he's blah. I was never slow. I was always the same pace as I was. I just moved from West Brom to Watford. So it was one of them things. I didn't get an injury. I was exactly the same, but it's just not used correctly. If you're not used in the way that you know that the player can do things, that's where you have the problems. And I think at the moment, Sancho's one of them. I think Greenwood, when he was adjusting, when he came in, what happened with him? He came in, he played up front, he played on the right, played here and there. He had to get used to playing the same way he did under 23s. Now you can see he's unbelievable. He's playing like he's playing under 23s now. He's playing like when you've seen him scoring all them goals.
Well,
he's actually so used to it now.
What I've noticed when I watch the difference in Greenwood and Sancho is Sancho will take up positions of an old school winger, whereas Greenwood, he's looking, sitting on the shoulder, he's watching that line, and you see him make that diag when the players on the other wing or the players looking in the centre when number 10's got the ball, he will look to make that run like a forward will make that run. Where Sancho's not doing that yet, and I think for Sancho to be a better player overall, he needs to add that to his game. Full stop. Just because you're going to play for the England team, you're going to play for Man United, you need to adapt. You need to be able to play different ways, whether it's a forward or a winger. But there is a little bit of a worry for me with it just getting to a point where he's going to be sort of not targeted, but he's going to be judged not in the right way, not fairly. Whether that's fans, whether that's the coach, but it all just ends up steamrolling. If especially with the price tag.
You know what I'm hoping? I'm hoping that we get them games where, like I see it as this. When Pogba was at Juve, so they thought about all the other players because they're all so world class. That they kind of Pogba went under the radar, and that's what made him so good. Like no one even was able to think about him enough. And then he did get his odd goal. He got his odd, amazing goal and this and that. I think Sancho, hopefully, will be one of them players that is in the side, does enough to always stay in. And then what happens is everyone's focused on Cristiano, on Rashford, on Pogba, and then Sancho then starts weighing in with goals and assists out of nowhere. And then it pushes him up. And like no one's thinking about him. That's what's happening at the moment. Nobody's really on his back so much because Cristiano's coming. And I hope that stays like that a little bit.
Yes, I fully agree. I think that Cristiano Ronaldo coming in has taken some of the heat off of what would have been your most expensive, or at least your most expensive player of the window. I think it's done him a little bit of a favour. But it's for how long. It's how long that will last before people start focusing back on him. And I completely agree with the situation that that Pogba was in. Like Pogba came to Man United, and the expectation of what he was going to do at Man United was that he was going to throw the 10 players on his shoulders and run them around, score goals, set up, and make saves. That's what everyone's perception of Pogba was going to be. And when he weren't doing that, week in, week out, he's getting pelters. So even if he was having an 8, people would call it a 6 because they were expecting Superman to be doing it. Hopefully for Jadon Sancho, it's where Paul Pogba just, in the end, he just ignored it all. And it felt like only Man United fans are really seeing what he was doing, where he was actually getting there. And you see what he's doing at the moment. You've seen what he's done at the start of the season. And I hope that's what's going to happen to Sancho, because he's class. He's absolutely class. And I don't want that sort of talent just ending up being a bench player or just being ruined through his lack of confidence.
You don't need that.
You don't need that. And in comparisons to players that have come over from Germany, Kai Havertz, he was getting absolute pelters last season. People were like, after 2 games, I don't think he's suited to the Premier League. I thought he was a good player, but actually he's rubbish. Lampard's done this, Lampard's done that. Towards the end of the season, he was one of their best players. Like, so it does take time to transition from a different league. This kid played youth level, then went to another country, adapted to a different style, and has now come back to England. He's not a Premier League player at the moment. He's got to adapt to that, the same way as Kai Havertz has, the same way as any other player that comes from a different country has. So just be patient. Be patient. This man, probably the most frustrating Man United player, because you know the talent that he's got. Before we move on, people, smash that like, smash that subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, hit the retweet, hit the like. Share it with everyone. Let everyone. We want more people to join. And the comment section, I'm loving you boys and girls today. Keep on coming in with your responses. Martial, the most frustrating player at Man United. All the talent.
You know what? I love the guy, I really do want to see him do well. But yesterday I'm watching him, and Elanga came on the field. And I was like, please bring Elanga on for Martial, because he was like not really moving. But Elanga came on the left, for Sancho. Martial stayed on. Elanga saw a ball deep in our half, and he's run onto it to head it far forward towards Martial. And you could see it coming a mile off. He didn't have no challenges. And then Martial, the ball's gone over his head, and then he's turned and then ran. And I'm like, seriously? That's like it's like putting an Atari game inside a PlayStation. It's like, you know it's not going to work. Why are you doing that? I'm looking at him going, you're not a striker, are you? Why are you not anticipating that header going over the defense and trying to hey, that could go over there. I'm ready to run as he heads it. Right, I'm going to stay on side. I'm going to time my... Man's reacted instead of anticipating. That's not striker's attitude. That is ingrained in your brain as a striker. If you haven't got that, got no chance playing up front.
Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen him with that? Never. So is he a winger? No. Is he a winger? Is he a striker?
You know what? He was a winger, just put up front. That's me now. That's confirmed it to me. 100% he's a winger put up front. No striker that knows how to be a striker does that. He's a winger. Put him left side from now on. Never play him up front again. And that was enough for me.
But does he have a future at Man United? Does he have a future at Man United?
You know what? If he wants to put some work in, yeah. But at the moment, you know what? It's not nice. I'm saying these things, I was a player. I know how it feels to have people say something. But I'm trying to say it in a constructive manner here. I love Martial. I love him. I loved what he done. But he's not doing anything at the moment. And he's not doing the right things on the pitch to make it work. You can see Sancho trying. He makes his runs. He gets on the ball. He tries to do the skill. He'll try and do link up and move and run up. So you don't mind that. If he doesn't, it's not coming off, it's fine. But Martial's not really. He did a little bit better because he had 90 minutes. He did a little bit better than you've seen him in the recent games. But seriously, he's not playing anywhere near his ability.
Has he been treated fairly? A young forward.
Man.
Hold on.
Season.
Hold on. Young forward, yeah, already being pushed down the pecking order by Cavani. Following season, Sancho comes in, Greenwood's there, Rashford's there, and then you bring on Cristiano Ronaldo. What as a young footballer, what would he be thinking?
Who are you talking about? Which player?
Martial.
Martial's thinking, I can play on the left, I can play up front. I'm getting my chances, and if I play 20-something games and I score 1 goal, I ain't playing for Man United up front. It's that simple. If you play 28, 30 games for Man United and you can't score more than 1 goal and you go on a run like that, you're obviously not going to be starting, are you? You're going to be on the bench, and then you have to prove yourself to get in ahead of these next boys. And Cristiano comes in and bags every game, you're not going to go ahead of him. Greenwood starts playing like he's playing, and he's banging and looking dangerous every second. You're not going to be ahead of him. So then you look at it's just all about who's performing. And right now, Martial is not performing. It's that simple. One day it might be Martial is performing and someone else isn't. Like Greenwood at the start of the last season. Gaffer gave him a bit of time to get back to his levels because he knew what he'd done from the season before, 20-something goals. He also did the same with Martial. That's why Martial got 20-something games last year, played many games on the trot with no goals, not thinking, you know what, you'll come good, and he didn't come good. Then he got injured. So that's what happened with Martial, and that's what happened with Greenwood. One went one way, one went the other. One took the blue road, one took the red. Simple.
You like that, man? Any truth in this? Sanchez signing killed Martial?
At the time, it was not right because Martial was on fire at that point. Sanchez came in, took his spot. I think he took his number and his spot. Liberties.
How would you feel at that point there? You feel like you're on fire. You feel like you're making progression. You've been at the club for a couple of years. Then they've gone out their way to go and bring in Alexis Sanchez, one of the top goal scorers in the Premier League, in your position. What are you thinking as a football player at that point?
I'm just thinking, look, I ain't the first choice anymore, but I need to play my part and prove that I'm valuable to the team. This is Man United. I need to just continue being who I am. And work on it. But, you know, certain conditions have to be a certain way for Martial to do well, as we noticed that time. And we did knock him out of his groove. He was on it. He was firing. He was scoring goals for fun. But again, when you're out of the team, you still should know what kind of runs to make. You should still work hard. It's the basics of the game that are missing right now from his game, that when you're not doing well, people just look at you and say, what use are you to my team right now? And right now, he's not any use to the team at the moment. He needs to work hard. He needs to play some resi games, under 23s, whatever, get his confidence back up and then jump back in. But until you see more than a certain amount of miles done in a game or kilometers, man, he shouldn't play. It feels like for me, it seems like he's doing less than 9 kilometers, less than 8 kilometers a game. He might have done 7 kilometers. And if he did do more, he was jogging it all, you know, a majority of it. Where's the sprints? Like, where are you? What are you doing? Why are you not shutting down with intent to win the ball? Don't just shut down. Shut down with intent. You see Bruno, he shuts down with intent. Rashford, intent.
Do you think he needs to be the main man at the club? If he leaves, do you think he needs to be the main man? Probably,
yeah. It's another one of them Lingard situations, isn't it? I think Lingard, really, really good player, squad player for Man United. This is where his highest position for me. He already showed he can do the Championship. Scored 4 goals on his debut for Birmingham. And when he first went Championship, he's killed the Championship. He's shown that he's better than the lower level Premiership.
Yeah.
And right now he's either a first team player in a West Ham, who's like a top 10 team, top 8 team, or he's a top squad player in a Champions League squad. That's where I see Lingard right now. He's on the top of his game, and he can be of some use coming off the bench the way he's playing. And that's how I've always wanted to see him. Anyway, I didn't want him to be a first-team starter. He can't be, because he has to be ahead of Pogba, Bruno, and them boys. He can't. He's not going to get ahead of him.
So do you think that Lingard, as a Manchester lad through the youth, do you think he'd be willing to take that? Because that's a role at Man United that has brought many medals from a lot of players in the past. And every club needs that player.
Exactly. Well, United have always had players like that. Fletcher, Anderson, Hernandez, Chicharito, even Oli.
Oli, O'Shea.
These players, you have to be in the squad. Like, you can't be a Man United or a big side that's going to win things without having a squad of players who are happy to play their role. And I think Lingard, that's his role at the best of times, because he's not going to be a championship winning player like a Bruno, no manager would you ever hear say, I'd rather have Lingard over Bruno, for example. And then you're not going to say, like, what you thinking? What's going on in your head? That's what I mean. It's so one-sided that you can understand that these boys are elite level. Lingard is just below that. He's not at that elite level, but he's a really, really good player. I love the way he plays. But we all know our level. I knew I wasn't no elite level like that. You know, I know my role. I know where I am. If someone said that about me, I'm not going to be upset, because I know that's my position. That's where I am, you know? So I hope that obviously people don't take offense to where in my mind, I think people are. So I know what it's like.
Yeah, I don't think he would. I don't think Lingard would, because if you're looking around him, is like, yes, you want to be starting and you want to be playing every week, but if you want to be a part of a team that wins trophies, look at Man City. They've won trophies. Like, I think they've won the amount of domestic trophies they've won in the last 5 years is ridiculous. But they didn't win that just by having the same 11 week in, week out. They did that with a squad, and certain players in that will play more than others. But those players that are the squad players will get a substantial amount of games and be very important players in the team. Just look at the goal that Jesse Lingard came in and scored the other day. If he wants more of that, you can be a big fish in a small pond at West Ham. No offense to West Ham players, or you can be in a big team like Man United. It's down to you, and he's got to make that decision. He's got to make a decision at the end of the season. But what do you think he should do?
To be fair, it's up to him now whether he wants to win bigger trophies or be in the chance in the hat to win bigger things, or does he want to play out the rest of his career playing every week? That's a choice you got to make. It's a hard choice. You know, if I had the chance, the choice of that is very, very difficult thing to think about, because you've got goalkeepers as well. They come United knowing they're not going to play. Imagine Tom Heaton. Yeah, I might not play for the rest of my career, but I'm at Man United. But I might get the odd few games every year. You know,
Tom Heaton knew what he was signing up for. So did Grant.
Yeah, but you've got younger players like Thomas Kuszczak. He came from West Brom with me. I was playing with him. Man United bought him. Yeah. He never really played.
He got more games than I thought he would get.
Yeah, but over his whole them many years he stayed there, you look about the amount of games that you play as a goalkeeper, you're probably thinking, man, I've got so much older and I've only played 20 games in 4 years or 5 years. It's like, do I want that?
For him, it was slightly different, because he was a very highly rated goalkeeper at that time. It was at West Brom. He was doing really well. He came out of nowhere as well. I remember him. And a fair few clubs were looking at him. And then he went from being a number one to being a backup goalkeeper, which I always find a bit weird, because there's first team goalkeepers, there's backup goalkeepers that you have for competition that could potentially take that spot, but not really. And then there's third keepers. The third keeper's there for training.
Exactly.
You need 3 goalkeepers. You can't have 2, because someone's got to kick the ball, someone's got to shoot at the other goalkeepers. So, you need 3 goalkeepers. So that third goalkeeper will always know is the third. Rob Green at Chelsea, Stephen Taylor at Man City when he was there, which is now Carson. who was third in this, that had to play the other day. So we know. We ask. Like them third goalkeepers would be like, yeah. So you got to speak to his agent. Could you get me like a top Premier League club? So I'm getting a bit old. My bones are hurting a bit after training. Any chance? Just like a couple of trips away, Champions League. Like, come on. And his agent comes up with Chelsea. So that's how it works. It's how it works. They know. All right. Another player who's on the cusp is who actually got back into the squad the other day was Phil Jones after a long knee injury. Pleased to see him back in the squad.
Pleased to see him back. I'm pleased to see he's back fit. Yeah, I'm pleased to see that he's got over his injuries and he's actually back on the field, training with the boys, playing under 23s football. But whether he's anywhere near what he was, that's yet to be seen. And I don't want to see him starting any games that mean anything until you can see for sure he can handle that level again. Because when he came back before, he was all over the place. He was getting slapped by Sheffield United players all over the place. And that wasn't nice to see. And I'm looking back at it now, it's probably it was too early for him to come back. He might have had problems with his knee, can't move very quickly, and someone's, raping him, like dashing him on the floor, and he's like, oh man, you know what? I feel like I shouldn't play. My knee's finished. I need to get something done with this. That's probably what happened. And then everyone's looking at him going, what the hell's happened to Port? That's the thing. Phil, sorry. What the hell's happened to Phil? That could have been what's happened. But for me, I'm just happy that we've got the boys we've got already. And he needs to take his time, play under 23s games, play him for 6 months or something. And then let's see if he's strong enough to come in a cup game or something. Come on off the bench in a cup game. See how he handles it while we're winning. Don't try and put him in a position where we need a win and he's coming into the starting lineup ahead of Bailly and Lindelof. I don't want to see that. That's not fair.
But it seems to be clubs now, more recently, probably the last few years, are, to some people, surprisingly signing up these players on additional deals, extensions on their contracts. Most of the time, it's due to the fact that their versatility around the squad and around the pitch is something that no one else has got. Are these players important for teams like Man United? I mean, Arsenal kept Ainsley Maitland-Niles, which is confusing to some. Liverpool have got James Milner. He can play across the back four and in midfield.
You know what? What's funny is Milner does a job at times for Liverpool, and so does Maitland-Niles. I think he's a pretty good player to have in your squad because he can play in a number of positions. He can do it well. He's even got in the England squad playing in them positions as a utility. So for that, you need them kind of players. And I think teams these days, they know that if you don't give them a new contract, they just leave they'll leave on a free. And today's money is.
He said, Garth earlier on said about the Atari comment, which he was cracking up about. Yeah, he said we're showing our age. Yeah, you're showing your age here with Desai, mate? No one near knows what Desai. Maybe Anthony knows who Desai is. Half these kids don't know who Desai is. Phil Desai Jones,
saying, man, it killed me. What was I even saying? Yeah, so the money. That that you could make at least 10 million, even 10 million off a Phil Jones. You might make a 10 million or 9 million or something off him. Like, even though he's not played for so long, but if he shows he's fully fit, someone will buy him for that much because this is football today. Champions League, championship players are going for crazy millions. So imagine what Phil Jones is. He'll get in a top championship side. He'll get in probably a bottom side in the Prem, if you get what I mean. Someone in the bottom of the Prem would take him today if they knew he was going to be fit.
Well, West Ham wanted to take him, but it was only on the basis that they wanted him for a free. Man United weren't willing to do that.
Exactly. So you give him a contract and then say, listen, take him for 10 mil. Or he's going to stay here and be a utility player and not play much unless we really need him and everyone's injured. He's good enough that if you really need him and everyone's injured and he's fit, then it's all right. But if he's not fit, obviously, then I think they just want to help him as well, because when you get a knee injury, man, it is a dark place if you're just not coming back. And when you do come back, your knee's gone again. That's what I thought would happen with Van Dijk a little bit, but he's just been ever present, and he's been strong. So my thoughts on Liverpool this year might be a bit different. But anyway.
But the thing is, I think with you said it there at the end was they might just want to help him out. Like you got to take into account he's probably been a model professional. He's given his early best years from when he was very highly regarded when he came in from Blackburn, and as one of my friends was saying earlier, when he did play or does play, he puts in everything. He gives everything he can, which is why you see the faces that he makes and them weird memes. It's because he's throwing himself, he's putting his body on the line. So it's probably the club paying him back and making sure that before he's not just sitting in the wastelands with no club, no training.
They're paying him for the trauma that Hazard gave him.
He's paying for all the memes that he's now a part of forever.
Hazard, forever, twice. Oh man!
Another player that we saw yesterday, Dalot. Especially with Aaron Wan-Bissaka getting a lot of pelters recently, indifference in form, starting to sort of maybe some frustrations creeping in with regards to not seeing much progression with regards to his attacking play and his crossing. Is Dalot a player that could potentially take over from or even give competition to Aaron Wan-Bissaka? It's just straight no, isn't it?
No. I wish we could have an Aaron Wan-Dalot, because he would be a very good player. Because Dalot's crossing, I like it. I like the way he whips it across, and it kind of reaches that height that a player could get their head on. I think Cristiano would have scored a couple last night if he was in there, because the ball got whizzed in a few times and Martial was just off it. And I think Cristiano would have been really working hard to get on that, and he would have got on a couple. But yeah, his crossing was exactly what we all know. He gets forward and he can put a nice ball in. But I think defensively, man, Telles and Dalot, both of them, they got roasted at times. I'm like,
oh really?
Shaw never gets roasted, and nor does Wan-Bissaka. Like, they never get roasted, ever. It's like, try and beat me. With these boys, it's like, come and beat me. And it's not nice. I'm seeing it. I'm like, man, we're looking like West Ham can rip us. The guy put it round Telles and ran the other side and got it. And the Telles slides on the floor from a running behind him, and he's missed the ball, and the player's still... I'm like, this doesn't happen. This shouldn't happen. So I was just thinking, no. Telles, you fooled everyone when you came in here. And he didn't fool everyone. What it is, he's probably not played for so long. Again, he needs his sharpness and fitness back. He might be a little bit better than what he's been showing because it's only his first game. Mm-hmm. Same with Dalot. He might have done really well at Italy, but seriously, I don't think they're as good as... obviously, they're nowhere near as good as Wan-Bissaka or Shaw. And I don't think defensively Dalot is that level that we need to be a right back at right back for United.
So what do you do? Do you because there was a lot of links with regards to Kieran Trippier in the summer. Do you buy a more experienced player who's not necessarily coming towards the end of their career, but he's going to be competition, but is not going to completely write off Aaron Wan-Bissaka? Or do you get someone who's going to seriously challenge him and potentially even take his spot?
I think you need someone who's going to seriously challenge him, and he knows his spot can be taken. Because end of the day, Wan-Bissaka has to improve attacking wise, and you know, and that's just the long and short of it. Dalot is a wing back at best. I don't think exactly the thing. Dalot, if he had not really as much defensive work to do, and you were to just keep finding him on the overlap and he crosses balls, deadly, pretty much deadly. He'd be a very good wing back. But I don't think right back. I don't think he'll be able to do enough defensively to stop the likes of the big boys. They'll just eat him for dinner. So you're damn right. We'd need a player who's got more about him. I do like I've always said, I do like the Norwich right back.
Aarons.
Yeah, Max Aarons.
He wants to be a guaranteed starter every week. You ain't getting him.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So you've got a player like that who could go higher, but I think Bayern Munich were interested in him or someone, and
Yeah.
he wants to be a starter.
He wants to be
So
a starter.
you're not going to go Bayern, or you're not going to go Man U because you want to play every week. Come on.
Want to play every week, yeah.
Yeah, so does Mahrez, and so does Jesus and Sterling. They all want to play every week as well, but they can't. They're never going to play every week because you're at a top Champions League team. So choose what you want, lad. Come and play for United and be in the squad, or stay at Norwich and get relegated and promoted and relegated and promoted.
I should have had you a message to Aaron's. A message to Aaron's from Nathan
Max
Ellington.
Aarons, come on.
To Max Aarons. To Max Aarons.
Max,
listen.
Come to United. Listen, we've got some options here. You're either going to play every week at Norwich, or you're going to come into a Champions League team like Man United and fight for your position. The same way Sterling, Mahrez, Grealish, them boys all fight for their positions. That's what you might have to do if you want to go higher levels, lad.
How do you think you get better? How do you think you get better? You don't get better by just being given a spot. You get better by winning your spot and keeping your shirt.
He's got the techers, he's got the skill, he's got the ability, the athleticism to be a Man United type player. Come and play at United and work for your spot. Lamptey as well. Lamptey's a good player, but he got injured. He's been out for a while. So, you know, I'd like to see someone who's going to play every week. Max has been playing. He's been seen by Bayern. So that gives me, I think it was Bayern or it was Dortmund. I'm not sure. But basically, one of those teams was interested. And if they're interested in him as well, it means my understanding is a little bit, it kind of backs me up in my understanding that this player should be a United player. Don't have to pay too much for him, surely.
Bayern Munich went for Richards in the end from Reading. He's doing well since he's been there.
Wow.
That is all we have time for. Very good.
Quickly, we had the one statement in there. I think it was Garth. He was asking about Paul. Explain Paul. What are you saying? He was saying something about Paul Pogba. Should he stay or should he go? Quick little rundown on that one then.
Okay.
When it comes to Paul Pogba, we know what he can do. But I do feel like he's being pigeonholed into a spot here at United. And if he stays, we will continue to pigeonhole him in a spot unless we get a Kante. We need a Kante for him to play in the middle with Kante, and then we can carry on doing what we're doing and play our football. But if we're not going to get that, and also if he doesn't want to stay, then let him go and let's use the money to make the team a bit more balanced, where you don't go, where's he going to play? Don't buy any players in where you wonder where they're going to play. Please buy a player where you know exactly where he's going to fit in and how he's going to fit in and what he's going to do to help this side move. Pogba's a brilliant player, our best midfield, most talented player on the field in terms of left foot, right foot, header, dribble, smash, skills. He can do everything. He can assist from anywhere, left foot, right. He can do everything. We all know that. But we just need to know how to put him in the right place where it's not going to hurt us defensively and it's going to be great going forward. I still don't think, you put him on the left and then there's some games where you think he shouldn't really be on the left because we need a bit more of something else on the left, and then we should put him in the midfield. But we can't put him in the midfield because he's not really good enough defensively, and these other teams can overrun us, and that's what we're gonna get because you don't know which one. Just because you don't have that defensive midfielder to help Pogba to go in the middle, and then you now put him on the left, and then it kind of loses a pacey player on the left or the right. It means that you now have to change something up. That's what I mean. When you always have to think about changing something up, it means you've got a lopsided squad where you have to fit them in. We've seen how that goes with Mourinho back in the day. And, no one wants to have a lopsided squad. Solskjaer's done a great job at balancing up our side. Balance it up some more. If he wants to go, then obviously no problem. If he doesn't, find a way to get him in the midfield and get a midfielder in there that can do all the work like Kante. Find a profile of Kante or go and steal Kante. One or the other.
Was there any of them free transfers that you would have taken as a replacement for Paul Pogba? Anthony says Frank Kessie.
Yeah, he's a good player, to be fair. But again, it's hard.
He's not a Kante, though. He's more a boxer. He's not a Kante.
Not really, no. I don't remember. No, There's Modric, obviously not really defensive kind of player. I don't know about that one. I have to think about that one. But yeah, that's what I think. If Pogba wants to leave, still after all of these players coming in, obviously just let him go in January, get some good money for him, and try and replace that with more balance. That's what I'd say. If he doesn't, obviously keep him, sign him, keep him for longer. Obviously top player. Then find a way of getting him in where he stays in that position. Just like Liverpool, if you ask to start in 11, you'll know 10 of those 11 every single week. You don't even need a lineup reaction. You know the lineup every week. Don't need nothing. Listen, that's the team.
Right, last bit of advertising there. Very good, very good, very good. All right, people. Thank you for joining us for our late afternoon show. Never done that before. Live, very enjoyable. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, people, please. We're trying to build this channel. Trying to build this channel, and loads of stuff's coming up. Got some serious guests on that list of people we want to bring on. Yeah, and yeah,
Dude,
we need. Yeah, look, Jude Bellingham, that'd be a great shout. We need your subscribers, people. Hit your likes, hit your shares, share it, whatever you got to do.
We're going to give away some kits, by the way.
Yes, we are. We are. Also,
we're going to get you to share it, like and share with your friends of other Man United supporters, and then we're going to choose from those people who have done that. We're going to announce it next week, that's for sure. We're going to get a Man United kit. We're going to get your names put on it as well and your number that you want, whatever it is. But we need to get this page and this channel up there.
There we go. Everyone in this, single one of you that joined us today, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Go and follow the Man United Show Twitter page. There's so much content on there. Even Clayton Blackmore's liking the posts. Thank you very much, Clayton. And again, another player that a lot of you kids are not going to know who I'm talking about. But he used to play for Man United. All right.
Cheers, you want your United shirt. I don't know if that's going to happen.
What an XL. By the way. Are you XL now, Garth? Hey, Paul. It'll take a lot of money to see that. Trust me. Maybe if I'm playing at Old Trafford, if we can make that happen, you'll see me in a United shirt. All right. Thank you very much for joining us today, people. Peace out. Stay safe and wash your hands.